Hello everyone, I am Dr. Mohammad Afzal Saifi and today I am going to discuss the nature of contract. So this term contract is a part of the Indian Contract Act. It is applicable to the whole of India. So as far as the term contract is concerned, the legal definition of the term contract is given under section 2H. Now, Section 2H clearly mentioned that an agreement enforceable by law is a contract. So every agreement which is enforceable by law, every agreement which have the legal enforceability, it can becomes a contract. So a contract, therefore, by and large, is an agreement, the object of which is to create a legal obligations. What is legal obligations? Legal obligation means a duty enforceable by law. So if you people analyze the definition which is given under section 2H, you will find that a contract is basically it is a combination of two terms. One is the agreement and the other is the legal obligations. Now, the definition and the concept of the term agreement is defined under section 2E of the Indian Contract Act. Now, according to section 2E, every promise and every set of promises forming consideration for both the contracting parties is treated as an agreement. But at the same time, you also should keep in your mind that every promise is not an agreement. Only those promises are the agreements which have the legal consequences, right? And the next term is the legal obligations. So if your agreement is capable to gives rise to the legal consequences, that is a duty enforceable by law, then your agreement can becomes the contract. But my dear friend, if your agreement is not capable to create the legal consequences among the contracting parties, then your agreement can never becomes a contract. Mind it. So every promise or every agreement of social nature, every promise, every agreement of domestic nature or religious nature cannot becomes a contract. I'm giving just an example of a promise. If you have agreed with your friend or if you have made a promise with your friend to take the lunch together, or if you have agreed with your friend to have a morning walk together, also although you are agreed and your friend is also agreed, he gives his consent that he is ready to have a walk together, morning walk together, but this promise or this agreement is treated as an agreement of social or domestic nature, and all the agreements of social and domestic nature cannot becomes a contract because there is a lack of intention among the contracting parties to face the legal consequences. And a contract is always talks about the legal consequences and the legal obligations. Therefore, it is necessary that your agreement must creates the legal consequences and the agreement is capable to create the legal duties among the contracting parties. Then only your agreement can become the contract. Then we have the essential elements of a valid contract. So the essential elements of a valid contract are given under section 10 of the Indian Contract Act 1872. So section 10 clearly states that an agreement is enforceable by the law if these 10 conditions are fulfilled. What are these 10 conditions? So, section 10 clearly states that if there is a lawful offer and the acceptance, it is necessary for the validity of an agreement. You must also have an intention to create the legal relations. Number two. Number three, there must be a lawful consideration between the parties. Consideration means give something, take something, or consideration is the price which is paid by the one party for the promise of the other. Then the next essential elements for the validity of a contract is there must be the capacity of parties. Capacity of parties means both the contracting parties must fulfill three conditions. The contracting parties must attain the age of majority, that is minimum 18 years, right? Second is the contracting parties must be the person of sound mind, and number three, the contracting parties should not be disqualified from contracting by the law. Then we have the next essential element of a valid contract is Free consent. Free consent means when you are entering into the contract, your consent must be free and fair. If your consent is obtained by the other party by using any kind of the physical threat, by using any kind of the misrepresentation, or by committing a fraud against you, so if you are giving your consent due to the fraud, if you are giving your consent into the contract due to the physical threat, or maybe you are giving your consent due to the misrepresentation, so in all these cases your consent is said to be not free and the contract is not valid. So the point of the crux of the point is that at the time of entering into the contract, you must ensure that the consent of yours and the other party must be free into the contract. Then we have the lawful object. So object is the subject matter of the contract. So the purpose and the activity of the contract must be lawful and legally accepted. It should not made a violation of any law. It should not imply the injuries to the person of property. The object of your contract should not be immoral. It should not be opposed to the public policy. So while entering into the contract, you have to keep all these factors into consideration. Then you have the writing and registration. See, my dear friend, according to the Indian Contract Act 1872, although the writing of the contract is not necessary for the validity of the agreement, the Indian Contract Act 1872 clearly mentioned that all contracts which either they are made by the words of mouth or in writing perfectly valid. But the exception of this explanation is that if you are entering into the contract in a close blood relationship, or if you are entering into the contract with the person with whom you have the natural love and affection, then writing of the contract is necessary, and along with the writing, your document of the contract must be notarized. That is necessary for the validity of the contract. Then you have this certainty. The terms and the condition of the contract must be certain, must be definite for the validity of the contract. And then we have the possibility of the performance. So section 56 of the Indian Contract Act clearly mentioned that when entering into the contract, both the contracting parties must ensure that the promise which they have made in the contract is possible to perform. If your promise is possible to perform, then it is a valid contract. Or if you have made a promise which is not possible to perform technically or physically, in that case, your agreement is not valid. So, section 56 clearly states that an act which is impossible itself is void. If you are promised for an act which is impossible itself is void. So you should keep in your mind, you should made only those promises which you are capable to perform. Right. So I'm just giving an example. If you are saying that if you give me rupee 10,000, I will, fill this room with the gold by my magic stick. So it is obviously not true. So this is something which is not possible to perform, right? So you also have to keep into consideration that your promise must be physically and technically possible to perform. It is necessary for the validity of an agreement, right? And then number 10, we have the not expressly declared void agreement. So if there are certain categories of the agreement which are expressly declared void, so if your agreement is expressly declared void, like you are entering into an agreement with the alien enemy, so this agreement is void. Or for example, you are enter into an agreement with the person who is not completed the age of 18, again this agreement is void, right? So while entering into the contract, it is your duty, being the rational person, you have to make sure that your agreement should not be expressly declared void by the government. If you are entering into the agreement which is already declared void by the government, in that case your agreement cannot become a contract. There is no legal help, there is no enforceability in the contract is there. And for the validity of the contract, all these essential elements which are given under section 10 must be complied with, must be fulfilled if you want to have an agreement, if you want to have an agreement which is enforceable by law, if you want to have an agreement which can becomes a contract. Thank you.